January 7th, 2016. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 90 of You Can Bet On That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet On That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
And Happy New Year, everybody. You know, it's funny because
Happy New Year.
We were, when I was editing the last episode, which we actually posted on Christmas Eve, I realized we didn't talk about Christmas or the holidays or anything.
That's because we were talking about our podcast, gambling.
So, I guess so. But anyway, I hope everybody had a good holiday and Happy New Year.
Those holidays are they get in the way, really, of our casino going.
Sure. Oh, it was
because it was on the weekend.
It was very hard that Christmas and New Year's Day were both on Fridays, made it very difficult.
We
to
lost
work around.
Free play money on both those days.
That's right.
To be with our families.
That's
I hope
right.
they appreciate that, girls.
I hope the casino takes that into account too. That
really
gives us free play on a different day. Well, what'd you do for New Year's?
Well, we went out to Harrah's, Southern California.
Yeah.
My wife.
Well, I did not go.
Yeah, you did not go.
Right.
But my wife and I went, and my brother was there with my dad. They actually stayed overnight. I did not. My wife and I came home. But we had a good time. It was very, very crowded.
Yeah, but they had a big giveaway, right? That's why it was so crowded.
They had $1 million. At 11 p.m., they gave away $1 million.
Okay.
We got there. We had to get there early. There was a dinner, which, by the way, was terrible.
That's too bad.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. I was really looking forward to it. It was like a steak and lobster dinner.
Uh-huh.
The lobster was really actually these giant prawns.
Okay.
So it wasn't really lobster. They didn't bill it as lobster, but steak and seafood, they called it.
Okay.
Last year, they
All
did
right.
have lobster.
Okay.
But this year was giant prawns. They were okay. The steak, I don't know what kind of meat that was.
Gee.
My wife thought maybe liver. I mean, it did not taste good. Now, I know it's a big room.
So this was this like a 7-star?
It's a 7-star type thing.
Okay, so you were invited.
And we were, it was invited guests only, and it was packed, and there were a lot of people in there. I'm sure there was some diamonds too.
Okay.
It was one of those deals where, you're trying to feed like 300 people, so things don't come out exactly like they would if you were just in a restaurant.
Right. I mean, what kind of kitchen do they have? I don't know that they
must
have a very
some,
big
like,
kitchen.
a temporary kitchen. And it could tell that the wait staff was like temporary help.
Oh,
like
okay.
Young
So
people
almost
they
a catered
hired,
kind of a thing.
Right. People maybe they hired for the night.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, the meat part was just not good. Mine was so undercooked, it was basically raw.
Wow.
And I like it a little red.
Yeah.
My wife's like, "Oh my God, is that cooked at all?" And hers was so cooked, the outside was crusty.
Okay.
So
some inconsistency.
Yeah.
There. You're sitting at the same table, so you'd think that it'd be the same consistency.
You would think,
but
it's probably just a bunch of plates in the back, and
they just grab them. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So we didn't have a real good meal. We didn't even stay for dessert. They had a salad first, which was good.
Okay.
But then the main meal came, and we kind of ate some of it, and it was like, it was very mediocre at best, I would say. Now, there were some people, to be honest, who said they liked it.
Okay.
And thought it was okay. We didn't. So, and dessert was like ice cream or something, and it took so long. And we were like, okay, let's.
You're probably itching to get back to the tables, right? Anyway, you're at a casino for crying out loud.
Exactly. So, and the entertainment was nothing to speak of.
Okay. All right.
Just some girls dancing to violin music.
Okay.
So, so we decided, okay, that's enough of that, and we headed back to the tables. And now, when we got there at 5 in the afternoon. And it was not crowded at all. And I thought, wow, this is not very much. But when we came out of the dinner at about 7:30, it was packed.
Yeah.
And the rest of the night, it was packed. So at 11 o'clock, they gave away $1 million. And the first person they called was not there.
Man, you had to be there to
You
get
had to be present. Yeah, 2 years ago, you did not have to be present.
Right.
Then last year, they changed it where you had to be present, which makes way more sense.
I agree. But
so anyway, they called this person's name. Now, in order to have your name called, you had to slide your card that day.
okay, so it's like my name wouldn't have gotten called because I didn't go up there that day. You actually had to be there, slide your card.
Slide your card,
Okay,
right.
yeah, right.
So she had obviously slid her card and then left. It turns out, I found out afterwards, they drew a second name, and the second,
okay.
because she had like 10 minutes and she didn't show up.
Right.
And her name was Wong. Her last name was Wong. So several Wongs did show up.
Oh, okay.
But they were the wrong Wongs.
Okay, the wrong ones.
So, that was the big joke. Oh, did a Wong Wong.
Yeah, nice.
So, they checked their card and they're like, oh, sorry, you're not the winner. And then after 10 minutes, they drew another name.
Okay.
That person was there.
Okay, all right.
And it was another woman from somewhere in the Orange County area. So she got the $1 million, very exciting.
Okay.
But the first lady who was drawn, it turns out she was playing on the same craps table as I was.
Uh-huh.
Now, I didn't know that. When I got back to the table, they're like, oh my God, she was right next to you.
Uh-huh.
And it was her and her husband and her brother.
Okay.
Now, either she wasn't feeling that well or she was out of money. The table was not hot. So for whatever reason, she told her husband, let's just not stay. Let's avoid the traffic and leave.
Okay. When was this?
I don't know. I never got that clarified.
Okay.
But obviously before 11,
Right.
she left and her brother-in-law was still there. So when he heard her name, he ran up to the stage too.
Probably to try to get it.
To try to get it, right. Yeah. His name was Wong too.
Yeah, right, of course.
It was her brother.
Yeah.
I mean, very disappointing. He came back to the table and I went back to the craps table afterwards and he just had his head down and the dealers were all talking about it. They could not believe it because evidently she's a real regular.
Oh, gosh.
And Lorenzo, one of the dealers that we frequent to a lot, he said, oh my gosh, she's here every single day.
Hopefully nobody told her.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure her brother called her.
I'm sure so too. Oh, that's too bad.
Oh, that's terrible. I mean, that is the worst case scenario, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, depending on when she left. It's one thing if you go and all you can do is go in the morning and you have plans.
Right.
Of course, why swipe your card then, if you don't plan on staying till 11, but yeah.
Sure.
All right.
But, anyway, boy, that was very disheartening. Anyway, afterwards we left and came home to our children and my dad and brother stayed. They had pretty good luck. They went over to Paula Casino after midnight. And at the Paula Casino, they were giving $216 in cash every 15 minutes from midnight to 5 a.m.
Okay.
So they didn't win anything, but there were a lot of people who are pretty happy. $216.
Yeah, well, especially if it's cash.
I'm sorry, $2,016.
Oh, see, Mike, that makes way more sense because all week long you've been saying $216.
Yeah, it was $2,016.
And I'm thinking, well, big deal, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
Okay, that's nice. $2,016. Okay.
$2,016, like the year.
Like the year.
See how that all works?
That makes so much more sense.
I don't know why I kept saying 216. I'm not used to dealing with large numbers.
Right. And math and math. Figuring out how much you need to be paid.
And common
that kind
sense.
Of thing. Sure, yeah.
Yeah, those kind of things.
You can be excused for
elude me.
this. Yeah. Well, talking about common sense. So this is something that happened last month. There were 3 British citizens who were jailed for cheating at roulette at the Casino de Monte Carlo in Monaco. Okay.
That's in Monaco.
Yeah. That's like the James Bond casino.
Right,
yeah, right.
Exactly.
Right. So they got away with nearly 4 million euros. And
so it's like 7 million American.
Yeah, maybe something like that. Yeah, right. So here's first let's give some background on roulette so people kind of know. So when you go up to a roulette table and you cash in, you don't get the regular casino chips that you'd get at a blackjack table or, a craps table, something like that. You're assigned basically these colored chips.
Right. So that multiple people can play roulette.
Right.
And the chips won't get confused. Because if you and I both put out, say, a $5 chip.
Right.
There might be arguments over like, oh, I put mine on 32 and you put yours on 33. And then when 32 came up, you say, no, that was mine.
Right. There's not enough room on the layout to accommodate, which could be like 7 or 8 people around. Yeah. So what they do is when you cash in, they assign you a chip color and they also assign a money amount, a euro amount in this case, to each of the chips that you get.
They usually put a marker on top of the stack of chips. So they'll have, say, 10 stacks of purple chips. Mm-hmm. You buy a stack. And each one's worth like €1, for instance.
Right.
They put a thing on top of the rest that says €1.
Right.
So they know that those purple are worth €1.
Right, exactly. So if you and I went to a table, maybe you get 20 purple chips and each one is worth $5.
Right.
And I get, 20 red chips and each of mine is worth $1.
Right.
Right? Because I'm buying in for less. And yeah, they put a marker there to indicate so that when you do cash out at the table,
they know how much to give you.
They know how much to give you in real chips, and then you walk away. You're not supposed to walk away from the table with these colored chips.
Right. They stay on the table.
Right, exactly. So here's what they did. They would go and play a session, and they'd buy in so that their colored chip would be worth 10 euros a piece. Each chip would be worth 10 euros.
Okay.
Right? And as they were playing, they would pocket some of these chips.
So they're just stashing away a couple of chips.
Right. These colored chips, say purple chips, right?
Right.
And then after a while, they stop playing and they cash in the chips that they haven't put in their pocket, and go cash out. Then later, maybe a couple of days later, they go and play another session, maybe with a different dealer, that kind of thing. And they buy in for way more, maybe like 100,000 euros.
Right.
And they request the same color that they had played on the previous session.
And they'll usually give you whatever color
Yeah, they'll
you
usually,
request.
you give you a color. So, but this time now, each of those colored chips is worth 1,000 euros.
Right.
So during the course of this new session, then they'll take chips out of their pocket, that were before only worth 10 euros,
Right, color them up.
Right. And, so that's basically what they were doing. And so they got caught eventually. And they were just sentenced, there were 3 of them, they were just sentenced to prison sentences of 10 to 30 months. But I thought this was interesting. Even though they won, illegally, 3.66 million euros, they were only ordered to pay back 850,000 of it.
Really?
Yeah. Now, I don't know why.
Now, did they determine that the other was actually won legitimately? Because they had to make some bets.
I don't know. And whenever you're reading these articles, you only get so much information, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure why. I mean, they're going to jail, but at the same time.
What did you say the prison term was?
So anywhere from 10 to 30 months.
Oh, okay.
All
I
right,
would have thought a lot more.
Yeah, I know. Really, for cheating like that.
You rip somebody off for $7 million. You'd think you'd get more than 10 months in prison.
And I have a lot of other questions about this. Is an interesting story, and it kind of shows you what people will do to cheat. But you and I were talking off mic too. It's like, well, aren't they keeping track of these chips? When somebody is done playing,
if they have 10 stacks of 20 chips, all purple.
Yeah. And
when that person cashes out, you better have 10 stacks of 20
right, exactly.
purple chips.
And when you say they, you mean like the dealer starts with 10 stacks of 20 chips. It's not like the player gets all the chips of that color.
No.
Right.
That never happens.
So at the end, you're right. At the end, when the player cashes out, the dealer should have the same number of his colored chips as started.
And when anyone who's been to a casino sees how often they count those stacks.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's constant. They're counting the stacks.
So maybe there's more to this story. You only, especially when you know a lot about a subject and you read something in the media, you realize how often things are wrong or there's information
Well,
missing.
when I originally saw this and I hadn't read anything about it, I thought they were cheating by forging chips.
They were
like pocketing some and then forging them so that the stacks were always the same. And then they went back playing with real chips.
That would kind of make more sense.
Of a different value and hoping to win.
Right.
Right. And then if you won, it'd be like, okay, I won. Right.
Yeah. But no, they were just pocketing chips from an earlier session where they were worth less.
Yeah.
And then taking them out of their pocket when they were worth more, the same colors. So, but anyway, I thought it was an interesting story. And I thought, it was kind of a slap in the wrist compared to what you would get, I would think, if you did this in Vegas. I think you'd go away for a long time.
I think you'd be away a long. Well, you might not even make it out of Vegas. Right?
That's right. Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, we spend so much time at work and going to the casino, legitimately playing craps and stuff. We need to focus more on cheating.
Yeah, we really should.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we'll talk about that. Maybe we'll start a new podcast. That's,
right. How to cheat effectively.
That's right. The podcast for the cheating gambler.
Right.
We'll disguise our voice and come up with, watch for that, folks. Maybe within the next year, we'll start a new podcast.
Oh, we've got a lot of good ideas for podcasts.
Oh, yeah. We talk about it all the time. Just wait. We got an email from listener Mike from Pittsburgh. Let me just read to you what he said here. My next visit to Las Vegas might include airport transportation provided by the hotel. It's not because I'm a high roller. It's because the room I'm thinking of staying in includes transportation. I have no idea how much to tip the driver. Any ideas? And he also goes on to say, also, there might be a concierge involved, greeting me, etc. Should I tip them? And how much? So, we usually get a free ride from the airport.
The limo picks
thanks
us
to
up.
you. Yeah, exactly. And you usually tip. I think you tip. You tip.
I tip too much.
You tip basically what it would have cost to take a cab, right?
Because it's like $13-14 for the cab, and I usually just give them $15 or $13.
I'm thinking if you're talking about going from McCarran just to some strip hotel, I think
if you were going to like Caesars, if you're going from McCarran to Caesars,
I think like $5. That's what I would tip.
Yeah. It might depend if it's just two people, husband and wife or something. That's probably, if you had 4 or 5 guys, you might want to tip a little more.
Maybe. But see, here's what I'm thinking is why pay essentially what you would have paid to take a cab to this free ride? Because it's like, well, then it's not really free, right? Yeah, it might be nicer. You might get picked up in a limo. But Mike, it's not always nicer. Remember that recently, I don't know, was it like 2 years ago?
Right.
We were expecting a ride.
I know the one you're talking about.
Right. And we got off the plane. There was nobody there with your name.
No.
And we had to actually walk down to where you happen to know that the limo's parked.
Right.
And he had just pulled up.
Right. Yeah, he was way late.
Yeah. And I mean, he was a nice enough guy, but we would have gotten to our hotel a lot faster if we'd just gone out to the cab line.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's not always great.
Yeah, it's not always, and even leaving the hotel to get to the airport, sometimes you've had to wait, right?
Yeah, it's a lot that leaving the hotel.
Yeah, and once again, you might as well take a cab. So anyway, that's another reason why I think you shouldn't pay, make a tip that would be the same as paying for a cab. I say like $5.
Yeah, that's probably not a bad idea. And I would kind of evaluate too the driver. So if you're a person who likes to chat, and you try and chat with the driver and he doesn't chat, maybe less, you just give him a small tip.
I would say yes if you instigate the conversation, because maybe you're one of those persons who doesn't like to talk to a driver.
And then the driver should not talk to you.
Right.
If he realizes that, hey, you just want to sit there quietly.
Yeah, you should be the one instigating the conversation. But of course, so like any other tip that you give, it should be based on service that you receive.
Yeah, so depending on the service, the guy needs to pick up your bag and put it in the, not make you throw it in the bag.
Right.
And, treat you respectfully, that kind of thing, because we've had some that have been not so good and we've had some that have been great.
That's true. It's almost like cab drivers. It's sort of a coin flip, right? Whether you're going to get a good one.
And we've had concierges that have opened the door and said, how's it going?
Yeah.
And, let me show you where the check-in is. And then you slip them a couple bucks.
Well, let's talk.
Those I usually just a few bucks.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's talk about the concierge. I would say if all it is like a greeting, hi, we're glad to have you here. If there's anything I can do for you, let me know. I would say no tip in that case, right?
No, just say thanks.
Yeah, and if they go out of their way to actually do something for you, you say, hey, look, I need tickets for this.
Right.
And, they're able to get them for you. Or
they sometimes they walk you to check in and say, okay, here's where you check in. This is, Melanie, she'll help you, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. You slip them a couple bucks.
Yeah. So that would be my advice is don't just tip to begin with, but if they do something kind of, above and beyond, then of course, sure.
Right.
And maybe a couple bucks, maybe $5. I don't know.
In this case, Mike didn't say who he's going with, right?
Who he's going to Vegas with? I don't think so.
Because if it's your wife, $5. Your girlfriend, 15.
That's right. You got to show off a little bit.
You got to show off a little bit.
Sure.
So that depends a lot.
That's just common sense, Dr. Mike.
Yeah, and if it's your friend, who you usually go to Vegas with, you say, why don't you get this time?
Right. I'll get it next time. And then, you selective memory.
My wallet's in my suitcase.
That's right. Hey, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, when you're going to buy something through Amazon, go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link at the top of the page. That way, when you make a purchase, we get a little kickback that helps cover the costs of hosting the show, and it doesn't cost you a thing. You'll pay the same price just like normal. And a lot of people took advantage of that over December, over the holidays, so we really do appreciate it. All right, I've got a story to tell. So a couple of weeks ago, you and I went up to the casino. Let me give you some background here.
Yeah, I'm already laughing, because I already know this.
All right. So I have a separate gambling stash. The money that I gamble with is completely separate from our family finances.
Which is great. I'm going to say this right off the bat. Everyone should do that.
Sure, if you're able to. Now, one of the reasons I'm able to, because again, I'm not an advantaged player. It's like, well, Mark, how do you replenish it? I mean, there are several ways that I replenish it.
You take money from your friends at poker night.
Yeah, I'm a decent poker player, so that's a big chunk of it, right?
That's a big chunk of
it. And, who knows? One of these days I might be tapped out and then I may have to ask my wife for some money, but
you're begging.
But anyway, I keep it completely separate. And I've never spent my gambling stash on anything other than gambling.
Right. Which, if that's what it's designated for, why would you spend it on?
Right. So, I don't go, well, I'll use some of my stash to go buy a new drill or something. I never do that. Right. So I keep them separate. Okay. That's number one. The number two is I'm a huge TV buff. right? You know that about me. Shoot, I put TV listings on our website.
Right.
And
you tape a lot of shows.
I watch a lot of shows. If we hadn't started a gambling podcast, I probably would have started a television podcast of some kind, right? However, we just had an old tube TV in our master bedroom, right? And I mean, it was big enough, but these days, I mean, there are shows now that are basically made for big screen TVs, right?
Which brings up my first question.
Okay.
Why did you still have the old TV?
Just because,
I mean, it's kind of contradictory.
I'm tongue-tied, I know. Here I'm talking about what a big TV buff I am.
Right.
I got this crummy TV in there. But no, it's true. With these tubes, I mean, like we watched this new show on Sci-Fi called The Expanse, a pretty good show. But watching it on the tube, some of the graphics come up and we can't read them. Or you've probably seen, like, if you're watching like a baseball game or something.
Yeah, you can't read the
score even, right? It's like, is that a 6 or a 5, right? On those old tubes, right? So you really need this screen. Okay, so we headed out to the casino, and I said, you know what, Mike? If I win enough money tonight, I'm going to buy a high-def flat screen TV for the bedroom, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you said that right when we got in the car.
When we got there, yeah. That's right, on the drive
I was on the drive there.
So, we played for a little while, and it wasn't going very well. It was actually going very poorly.
It was not good.
But I was staying positive. I said, Mike, I think we're really going to win, and so we
I think at one point you said, we're going to win no matter how many times you have to go to the ATM.
I think that's exactly what I said with a smile on my face. That's right. I had borrowed some money from you to play.
You're going to win no matter how many times you have to go to that ATM.
So anyway, finally we're there late. I got the dice and had a pretty good roll. And then you got the dice and had a great roll.
Yeah, the guy before you had a good roll too, remember?
Was it? Okay, so we started to come back a little bit.
Not as good as yours, but a little bit of a roll. Then you had a good roll. Then I had a very good roll.
You capped it out. At the end of your roll, you had made 5 fire numbers, and you were on your 6th.
I was on the 6th, which was a 10.
It was a 10. It was a tough one, but you were actually on the 6th one.
Yes.
And in total, you made 7 points. 5 unique ones for the fire and 7 points.
I repeated a 4 and a 6, I believe.
I think it was 9.
Okay, maybe it was. Maybe it was 4 and 9.
For those
I know one was 4.
Make sure we get
4
this
was
right.
the first
4
point.
was definitely one you got twice. Yeah. So, but anyway, so then we cashed out. We had this huge win. I didn't bet the fire bet, but I still, you bet the fire. But anyway, we had a great big win. I had enough money and more to go buy a new TV. So, like I promised, the next day I bought a television.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
Now, so that should be the end of the story.
No, there's more.
So for about 8 months, our household here has been without a washing machine.
A washing machine.
Yeah, a clothes washing machine.
They have a dryer.
Right. We've had a dryer. That's correct. But no washing machine. And so my wife has been going to the laundromat, basically doing all the laundry and then
schlepping laundry around town.
Yep. Okay.
Sometimes down by the river with a rock.
Yep. Right. And so when word got out to the general public, meaning like you and
my wife
and your wife and my family, that I had bought a flat screen TV for the bedroom.
Yeah, not the main TV that the family watches.
The bedroom, the master bedroom, where some people think there should be no TV.
Right. It's bad feng shui, right?
So when they found out that I had bought a TV instead of a washing machine for the house, I understand that the gossip mill went into overdrive.
Oh, yeah. Well, the way I found out was you and your wife and son came to our house.
Yeah.
And Sherry somehow said something like, oh, yeah, we haven't had a washing machine for 8 months. And my wife steam's coming out of her ears. She's like, he bought a TV yesterday. This was the day after. And as soon as you guys left, she's like, oh, Sherry's way more patient than me. I would have been all over him.
So, I'm trying to defend myself, at least in my own. I didn't realize that the gossip was already starting because, you guys talked to my sisters.
Right.
And so, I'm thinking, hey, this is my gambling stash, right? If I had lost $700, which would cost nobody would be complaining that I lost $700 instead of buying a washing machine because it's my stash. That's my gambling stash, right? It's not for buying washing machines.
I'm on your side on this.
Well, you might be the only one because, even though I try to rationalize it, when the words are coming out of my mouth, and hey, look what this new TV can do, and then, okay, great, Mark, I'll see you in about 45 minutes. I'm going to the laundromat.
Right.
I started to feel a little guilty.
So the next week, the week after, when we went to the casino that night, Lynn, my wife, is still talking about that, right? And she says, yeah, Mark's going to the casino again tonight. Sherry's probably home washing clothes in the bathtub. And then just, wringing them out with her hands and putting them in the dryer. And then I get in the car and I tell Mark that, and Mark says, no, we ordered a washer.
We got a washing machine. This whole thing might have been the catalyst for it. And, Sherry, she seemed pretty okay with the whole, well, I don't know how old. But we do have a washing machine now, so happy ending to the story. I
don't know about laundromats. I know a lot of people use them. Well, and I did when I was in college because I had to. I didn't have a washing machine. But I got a couple laundromat stories if anyone ever meets me and wants to hear a good laundromat story.
Yeah, and Sherry would go to this laundromat, and the woman who ran it was like this really horrible woman who kind of treated her badly.
Right.
There's some good things about it. You can wash all your clothes at once.
Sure, they're
right.
huge.
Get them out. Right. Yeah.
Right, they're huge.
And so. But
when a homeless person comes up and puts their blanket in with your clothes for about 30 seconds and pulls it out and wrings out mud basically into your wash, and then goes and throws their blanket in somebody's other thing that's drying. And you see that and you're sitting there, you think to yourself, I don't want to go to the laundromat anymore.
Well, we won't be going to the laundromat for a while anyway. So, all right.
It's a good story. And you know what? The moral of that story is keep your stash separate.
Yeah, exactly. Keep the stash separate.
Yeah. And don't ever do something as stupid as to use it for non-gambling.
I'm never going to use it for non-gambling purposes ever again.
What you do is you just beg your wife, we need a TV.
And that's what I do next time.
Take some money out of savings and buy that TV.
I'll look like a better person if I do that next time. All right, let's jump to our voicemail hotline. Remember, call our hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
And maybe we'll play your clip on the show. First, let's hear from Will.
Hey, guys, this is Will from North Carolina. I contacted you guys back in August, and you guys were cool enough to respond on the podcast to my email. I'm actually in Vegas right now. I'm having a nice little solo trip between Christmas and New Year's. And it's been really fun so far. I got to bet on some NFL games for the first time and came away a small winner on that, and I thought that was really cool. But I've noticed we've been playing craps and playing tons and tons of craps, and I think about you guys a lot as I'm playing, and a lot of stuff you guys have talked about on the podcast. And I noticed, a couple of things this time on this trip that I thought were pretty cool. But the first is, I noticed that when I shoot, when I'm next to the stick man, I really hate it because I feel like I have to kind of contort my body in this weird way to get the dice down the table. And it seems like every single time I do that, I seven out real quick, like after 3 or 4 rolls. But when I'm at the end of the table and I have plenty of space to kind of really chuck the dice all the way down there and just, really comfortably throw them, I end up having good rolls. And it was crazy. Like yesterday at Luxor, the exact same thing happened. 4 times in a row, I was shooting next to the stick man, and I seven out quick every single time. And then once some people had left and I moved down to the end of the table, then I had this great roll where I hit like 4 points. And it was just crazy. And it reminded me, you guys talked about with superstitions. I don't really truly believe I'm making a difference on the dice, but it's kind of more fun to believe that because I noticed that, it makes me feel better when I'm shooting. And I was wondering if you guys ever felt the same way when you shoot about different ways, if you either feel better, feel worse, and feels like it has any impact on the way you guys roll. The other thing I thought was really cool is I remember in one episode you guys talked about the fire bet versus the, all tall, all small, all nothing at all bet. And they actually have that feature bet at Excalibur and Luxor and a lot of the places I like to play. And, I'm a pretty conservative player. I play $5 tables, only do pass line, come bet, single odds usually. I stay away from all the stuff in the middle of the table because of the high house edge. But everybody was betting that bet in the middle last night. And so I decided to join in. And not only did I join in, but I did a two-way for the dealers a lot of times. And so even though we missed it the first couple of times, finally somebody hit the all tall, and it was really, really exciting. Everybody at the table cheered when we finally got that 12 that we needed, and the dealers were super excited because, even though it was only $35, people weren't really tipping all that much. It's only a $5 table, and they were so happy and so excited that they hit it too, and it made it really, really fun. And we came so close to hitting the all or nothing at all also because we were only missing the 5 on the all small. And it was just a really, really fun time. And even though I think I'm going to stay away from that bet in the future because I know it has a pretty high house edge, every now and then maybe I'll start making because it was one of my most fun experiences playing craps. So let's figure out how you guys know about that because I know you guys talked about it in other episodes. So look forward to hearing from you guys again soon on the podcast in the next few episodes. So I'll hear from you guys in a couple of weeks. All right, thanks, guys. Bye.
Right, yeah, thanks, Will. It's it's funny because I've been messaging kind of online with people about the fire bet and the features bet, right?
bet,
The all
right.
small tall bet. And my response has basically been, the all small tall bet is more fun.
Yeah. Oh, definitely more fun because I think in the short run, you're going to have more instances where you've made, you only need the 12 or you need the 2, or sometimes you just need a 5, right?
Right,
and then,
right.
Come on, 5.
Yeah.
The fire bet, you don't get that close.
No, it's few and far between. You hit.
You know how many times you get 3 points and you need a 4th and you come out on a repeater?
Right, sure. Yeah.
So it's like, and then it's just not that much fun until you're on that 4th number or 5th number.
Right. It's not until then. Right. And, this features bet has a smaller house edge too.
Right.
So,
sure.
are you making it more often? Well, yeah, you are, right?
Right.
Because
those 7s on the come out kill
right,
you.
that's what happens. So you may be making it more than once on a single shooter, whereas with the fire bet, it's just once per shooter. But
right.
yeah.
But, just bet $1 then.
Sure. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Bet $2.
Yeah.
And then if they 7 out, put another 2 out there. You're still less than the $5 you may have put on the fire bet.
Right. Yeah, exactly. We're going to hear a little bit more from Will later on. All right. Let's hear from Billy. Now, when you met Billy at Southern Indiana, right?
Right.
And we were speculating, well, how did he know it was you?
Okay.
And, I was thinking maybe it was his voice or your voice rather.
Right.
Or, the way you were betting or something. He called in and kind of clarified.
Okay, great. I want to hear this.
Hey, Dr. Mike, this is Billy. I met you in Southern Indiana. I just wanted to clear up how I knew it was you. I got on Twitter on our way down and saw you was going to be there. So I looked up your picture on your Twitter account, and I just looked for one of you two standing in the picture, and I seen you, and that's when I came up and tapped you on the shoulder. So maybe next time I'll get to play with you. Sorry I didn't get to play craps with you this time, but maybe on your next trip I won't be meeting a bunch of friends and I'll get to play a little bit of craps. So it was nice meeting you, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.
It's that picture that we took in front of the showroom at the D.
Oh,
where,
okay.
It looks like we're like on the red carpet or something.
Right.
And I kind of look like a game show host, and you look like you've just had a concussion. You're kind
As usual. That's how he picked me out.
That's how he picked you
look
out.
for the
Yeah,
guy
that's
who
right.
just had a concussion.
Yeah, so there you go. You just saw the picture. So
Well, that's good. I wondered about that. I was like, I was talking, but I couldn't recognize somebody's voice unless it was real obvious. They had like a real definitive voice.
yeah, maybe. And plus, it's always weird when you meet somebody whose voice you've heard but you've never seen before.
Right.
If you maybe close your eyes, you can think, "Oh, that's Dr. Mike right there." But if
Right.
you're looking at somebody,
Yeah,
you're trying
it's
to
like,
put the
that
two
voice
together.
doesn't match.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
He's got to be better looking than that.
They always say that. Yeah,
Yeah.
for both of us. All right. Let's hear from Kevin.
Hi, Mark and Dr. Mike. This is Kevin from San Antonio. Had a couple international casino experiences recently. One was in London, and it was interesting. It was right in the middle of the city. No parking or anything. You walk right off the sidewalk into the casino. I'd say the theme was UK gangster. If you were interested in a criminal enterprise, you probably could recruit the bouncers. But actually, it was pretty nice inside. The biggest game by far over there was roulette. They had no craps. Lots and lots of roulette, though. Interestingly enough, it was single zero roulette, and if you played on the outside and the zero came up, you got half your money back. So by far the best roulette odds I've ever seen. And the other casino I got a chance to visit, sort of the end of a family trip, and stopped by just for a short visit to Monticello in Chile, just outside of Santiago. And again, no craps at all. They claim it was the biggest casino in South America or something, but I think they were not talking about the casino floor. I think the whole complex. Only interesting experience in there. I played a little bit of roulette there also, and I was paid 15 on a split chip on the roulette table. Should pay 17, and had to get into an argument in Spanish about what the appropriate amount to be paid was. I think, which I was successful. I think my high school Spanish teacher would have been very proud. Anyway, great show. Thanks, guys.
I'm pleased to hear, Kevin, that you were able to, kind of plead your case here.
Yeah, in Spanish.
And plus,
in Chile.
was it just a mistake that they made? Because, what dealer is going to pay 15?
Right.
And then, get into an argument. I can understand, oh, sorry, I paid you 15, it's supposed to be 17. It almost sounds like they ripped him off, and maybe they saw he was a foreign
like they
or
were
something.
trying to rip him off,
Yeah.
right? Like, oh, he won't understand, and then he can't plead his case, and we just pretend like we don't know what he's saying.
Yeah, right. Anyway, that's good. I'm glad he was able to.
Yeah, the first person I've ever known, heard of that played in Chile.
Yeah. Right. Oh,
my brother hasn't played in South America.
That's true.
Central America, yes, but not South America.
Central America and Asia for your brother, Europe, but not South America. Yeah.
Right, not South America. Yeah. So that's interesting. I wonder what casinos are like say in Brazil,
I don't know.
In Rio. They must have a lot of casinos.
Yeah, it kind of scares me to think of what it might be like, trying to.
Yeah, if anyone out there has been to Rio de Janeiro or somewhere, some bigger city in South America, I'd like to see what a casino's like there.
Yeah.
Hear about that.
Well, let's talk about the roulette that he was talking about. So yeah, European roulette wheels only have 1 0 instead of a 0 and a 00.
Right.
And a lot of them do have this rule that Kevin was talking about. Okay. The rule is called la partage, which means the divide. And it basically applies to the outside bets, the even money bets.
Okay.
Right. So red and black, odd and even, 1 through 18,
right,
and 19
the first
through,
half,
just,
and second half, not the thirds.
No, not the thirds. Right. No. It's only the even money bets. Mm-hmm. And la partage is what it's called. And sure enough, if 0 comes up, you get half your money back on it. A lot of other European casinos have another rule called en prison, which means in prison, right? What happens in that case is if you're making an even money bet and a 0 comes up, the croupier puts this special marker on your even money bet, and your bet is now in prison. And if on the next spin your bet wins, so let's say you had a bet on black, 0 came up, they spin again. If black comes up on that next spin, you get your bet back.
Ah, you don't win. You just get your bet back.
You get your bet back. Right.
And if black doesn't come up, if red came up or 0 again, you would lose your bet, I assume.
Correct. Right. If red comes up, you'd lose your bet for sure. If 0 comes up, casinos have different rules. Maybe it stays out there again. In some cases, it loses. In some extremely rare cases, it would win. But yeah, it basically, the second spin has to be, a quote unquote winning spin for you to get your money back. Now, the nice thing about La Partage and Prison is that it reduces the house edge, especially on a European wheel, to 1.35%, making these even money bets easily the best bets on the roulette table.
Yeah.
Significantly more.
Right. Which, a lot of times would go against what you would think, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Even money, I want the 30-1 bet.
Right. Now in Atlantic City, at least some of the casinos have this in prison rule. Now, of course, Atlantic City is American and has American roulette wheels, which have a 0 and a 00.
So does it apply to both 0 and
yes,
00?
It applies to both.
0.
So it's still, the house edge is higher, of course, on those wheels anyway. But this rule does, basically cut the house edge in half for those even money bets. So, yeah.
That's not bad. I wonder what casino he was in London. He didn't say.
Oh, no, you're right. He didn't.
Yeah, he didn't say. Now, my brother says there is one casino that has craps down in the basement.
Yeah, you have to.
Did he say it was like one craps table or something?
No, he said no craps.
No, my brother.
Oh, your brother? Oh.
I think he said that one of the casinos does have craps.
It had to be like one table.
And it's like one table and it's down in the basement.
Okay, yeah.
It's not real popular. So it's like, we have one craps table down there.
Yeah.
And that was the only one he could find in London.
Yeah. It's just a very American game.
Yeah, I don't know why.
It's a little complicated. Maybe that's something.
We're smarter here in America.
No, that's
Look how well our country's run.
That's not what I mean. It's just like it's like trying to explain baseball, right, to somebody who's not American, right? And you realize how complicated a game it is. And for us, we grew up with
the
it,
strategy
right?
of it all.
Yeah, well, I mean, just everything. It's he bunted the ball and it was foul, so that is a third strike. I mean, there's so many rules, right?
Right.
So,
right. There are a lot of rules, and if you don't grow up with them, you don't want to learn them.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, soccer kind of is the same here. Not there's a lot of rules, but if you talk to, not so much now, but when we were growing up as kids, if you had said there's offsides, there's no cherry picking, for instance.
Okay, right.
You would say, what?
Yeah, that's true.
Why can't I run down there and the guy kicks the ball to me,
Yeah,
right?
right.
That's a stupid rule.
Yeah.
But to Europeans, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, you wouldn't even think about it, right?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, that's
right,
offside.
right,
you can't do that.
Right. Well, I mean, we could get into a big discussion about why certain things are popular. Like with my and I don't know why this is the case. It just seems that with American sports, it seems like Americans like concentrated drama.
Right.
So with like baseball, it's like, okay, here's the pitch.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you kind of relax. Okay. Here's the pitch. Same with football. It's
Right.
like, okay, right here it comes. He's about to,
Here's the play.
snap the ball, right?
Right.
Boom. And then downtime.
And then there's some downtime. Yeah,
Right?
we can't take a lot of trauma.
So like that. And with soccer, it's just continuous, going
Right,
on.
their
And
action is
for
always
whatever
going
Americans, I don't know why Americans can't
Well, with
handle
soccer,
that.
it's like low grade entertainment until somebody kicks towards the goal.
Yeah, right.
Right
But
in
it's
the
not-
midfield, it's like, okay, he's dribbling and that guy's going to steal it. And it's kind of exciting, but it's not super exciting.
But for whatever reason, Americans, again, they like that. It's the same reason that basketball and hockey are not as popular here as baseball and football. Because
Right.
basketball and hockey, action is
action is
constant.
constant.
It's not as concentrated the drama. I can't explain why, but
I
think
can
that's
explain why. We can't pay attention in America because we're too fascinated with TV.
When did you get here, Mike? I didn't even see you here.
Oh, I just got here.
All right, let's listen to the follow-up call from Will.
Hey guys, this is Will from North Carolina again. I actually just got back from my Vegas trip, and so I figured I'd give you guys a little bit of a follow-up message to the two things I talked about last time. So first off, concerning, shooting from the side of the table, I was talking about before how I really hated doing it. It didn't seem like I did very well with it. Well, thankfully after kind of watching a few other people shoot, I kind of tried coming with a couple other different ways to throw the dice that made me feel a lot better. I kind of figured out a way if I was to the right of the stick man to kind of go through it underhand and kind of chuck it down and spin my wrist on it a little bit. If I was to the left of the stick man, I kind of did more like a little backhand chuck, again, kind of rotating my arm over. And the funny thing is I just felt like that felt so much better shooting it. And it just made it a whole lot more fun again, shooting from that side of the table. And lo and behold, at least I can remember one time I actually had a really good roll doing it that way, where once again I hit it about 4 points. And again, it's funny. I know it's stupid. I know it doesn't make any difference whatsoever, but it makes the game more fun, and it was nice to be able to kind of figure out a way to make shooting from the side of the table a lot better, even though I know it doesn't really make any difference. And that's what's really fun about craps, of course, is, feeling like you have the fate of the table in your hands, and, you want it to be more fun if that's the case. So speaking of having the fate of the table in your hand, that brings me to the all tall, all small bet, the features bet. And, I was talking before about how I kind of hated it because it's a fun bet, but I like to do the more, low house edge bets and play more conservatively. So what I decided to do is I would only do that bet when I myself was shooting. And that way it made, when it came around my time to shoot, even more exciting because I had that on the line, especially because I always like to bet that two-way, which, makes it cost more, but, it makes it more fun for me knowing that the dealers are going to win too. So it was great. One time that I did that, and I was doing really well. I hit everything except for the 2 and the 10. And there's a couple other people up on there too. And so all of us just started chanting. We knew that 2 was going to be hard to hit, so we started just chanting aces, aces, aces. And then this guy next to me was actually an Australian guy. He even said, you know what, man, let's do it. And he threw in a hot bet on aces in addition to that. And I couldn't believe it. I actually threw the dice down, and I nailed the aces on the first time. We were all so excited. The dealers were cheering. Me and this guy were hugging each other. It was great because we didn't have to, wait like 5 times for him to hit that hot bet. We did it the first time out. Unfortunately, of course, I couldn't hit the 10 afterwards, so we didn't get the whole entire thing. But still, though, that was like one of my most exciting individual rolls I can ever remember. And so I figured I'd just kind of let you guys know about that. So I always appreciate it, guys. Always like I hear from you guys. So it's great. All right, so thanks. Bye.
Yeah, that's great advice. If you're going to make a bet with a high house edge
that you normally don't make.
That's fun because you're doing it because it's fun.
Right.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. We've talked about it before. As long as try to space it out. And that's a good way to do it, is like, okay, I'm only going to make this bet when I'm rolling.
You do that a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
You do that a lot. You'll make a bigger bet for the dealers when you roll.
Yeah, and it's not like I think I'm a better roller. It's just that I can
makes it more fun for you.
I can spread it out a little bit, so I'm not.
It.
Yeah, exactly. So that's good.
Well, talking about his superstitious stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. I've always thought in my head, and I'm kind of superstitious, but I know it's not true.
You enjoy pretending that you're superstitious.
Yeah, I enjoy pretending that I'm superstitious. Exactly. But I've always thought, I roll so much better from the end of the table. You get that long roll, and I like to loft them and everything.
Yeah.
So the other night when I had the 5 fire bet, I was right next to the stick, right?
That's right.
And
yeah,
that's probably my best roll ever. And I was
right.
right next to the stick.
Right.
And when you're rolling from that position, I suggest shooting them like you're feeding chickens. That little underhand back thing.
Yeah.
That's a nice way to roll them there because you don't have very far to throw them, and you get a good.
You do have to come up with different ways to roll the dice depending on where you're standing at the table, just for comfort reasons, not because you're going to have a better roll or anything like that. But yeah, it
just feels better.
Right, it is. But yeah, that underhand chicken feeding way is definitely a good way to go if you're close to the stick.
Here's my superstitions. I'll just give you a few of them. I like to wear a new shirt.
Okay.
I always feel better when I wear a new shirt.
Yeah.
So if we go like to Atlantic City, I take a couple of new shirts. I just go out and buy a couple new t-shirts because I feel like more comfortable or better when I'm wearing a new shirt.
And have you noticed with me, I'm usually wearing the same shirt.
Yeah, right.
Like when we go out to Harrah's, I'm always wearing some Padre shirt, right? Like every time.
Padre shirt, right. Now I do that at work, but I don't do that when I go out to
that just makes sense. Yeah.
So I like the new shirt thing. I like to feel good. It seems to me like we always have a better session, when you're feeling good.
Well, that's why I don't like a crowded table.
Right.
Because I feel better when I have some room to kind of spread out.
Yeah,
sure.
you don't feel cramped or I also, we've talked about this many times. I don't like it when somebody's causing a stink or there's some dispute.
Sure.
No, of course not. There's no such thing as, positive vibe. I mean, there probably is. But it's not going to that you feel better. It doesn't affect the dice.
It doesn't affect the dice, but it affects your mood. Sure,
it affects your mood. So win or lose, you're a little happier.
Yeah.
So that's probably my two biggest superstitions. Yeah. But I think that new shirt thing really does work.
Well, let's try it out. I'm going to start keeping track. Yeah. But no, it is funny what Will was saying because, when you are in the middle of a hot roll, you do kind of feel like, okay, I'm in a rhythm. Right. I've got control here, right? There's another 6.
Right.
There's
do it
another
the same
8.
Way.
Yeah.
And you'll hear people all the time say, oh, I left that one short. I didn't throw it quite as hard as the one before and it's 7 out.
Yeah, that's right.
That really mattered.
Yeah.
But it's, you were in a rhythm, right?
That's part of the fun of playing craps.
Probably any gambling. People do the same with blackjack. You'll see people put their bet in the same place. Sure. You'll see that weird lady stack her chips in the field.
That's right. So that they're almost about to fall over. And if the dealer touches them, then she cusses them out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, sure.
She's not superstitious though. That's his smart gambling.
Oh my God. We haven't seen her in a while. Thank goodness. I can't stand her.
She's just a little different.
Yeah, I guess. All right, well, that's going to do it for this episode. Hey, we want to thank John for a PayPal donation. So John gave us a donation because his Raiders beat our Chargers. And, here's the thing. If you're a Chargers fan, if you grew up in San Diego, you're a Chargers fan, you hate the Raiders.
They're your worst enemy. I mean,
honestly, it's of all the rivalries that we've got, we don't have that many in this town. But that's the one thing is we hate the Raiders.
Yeah, even the Padre-Dodger rivalry is not as big as the Charger-Raider rivalry.
And I'll go so far as to say this. I don't know if you'll agree with me here, but I hate the Raiders more than I like the Chargers. That's how much I hate the Raiders.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, for years, I said my two favorite teams were the Chargers and whoever's playing the Raiders.
Yeah, exactly.
So on any given Sunday, I'm rooting for the Chargers and whoever's playing the Raiders.
But anyway, John, the Raiders are your team. They won. You sent us a PayPal donation, so thanks for that.
Well, I'll tell you what, though. We should mention that he was going to send us a PayPal donation whether they won or lost.
That's right. Yes.
So that's really cool.
Yeah,
I thought that was really cool because most people, if we win, I'll send you something. But no, he was going to do it either way, and that's great.
Yeah.
And I have at times honestly rooted for the Raiders in certain situations.
Well, sometimes you have to.
Yeah, when you have to, when it benefits the Chargers. Yeah. But it's just, I don't know why. They've always been our big rival.
I know why.
The Holy Roller.
Yeah, that was one big reason. Yeah, exactly. All right, thanks again, John. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program to search through all the raw American TV data. Just go to our webpage, youcanbetonthat.com, and click on the link at the top that says TV listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS. Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. Also, follow us on Twitter at youcanbetonThat. We always tweet when we're heading to a casino, and we'd love to meet up with you. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/youcanbetonThat. And finally, head on over to iTunes and write a review on us. When you do, it helps us get new listeners. Okay, what do you got for us, Dr. Mike?
Well, I think that there's one thing we've really learned from this podcast, and that would be that if you have a big win at a casino with your gambling stash, and the next day you buy a TV, tell your wife that your good friend Mike bought it for you.
Oh, that's a good idea too.
And then just put it in the bedroom and say, yeah, we had a huge win. Mike wanted to buy us a TV.
Nice. That's a good idea.
Then there's no problems, and then just a week later say, yeah, we should get a new washer now.
Okay, good. I will return the favor.
Yeah,
so if you ever want to buy something really big and ridiculous, then let me tell you can just tell Lynn, oh yeah,
well,
Mark.
Actually, I have to say big and ridiculous does not describe your TV.
It's a
because it's big.
Yeah.
But it's certainly not ridiculous.
No, it's not.
Because every guy deserves a TV like that.
All right. Well, thank you. And actually, now that I think of it, if you told Lynn that I bought something for you guys, she wouldn't believe it. Who would?
No, she probably wouldn't believe that.
No. All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.